Hi guys, it's Louis, the Autistic Exec. I am here in my office this week, filming directly from inside my office here, and I wanted to bring to you a special topic that was brought up by a viewer, and that is running for elected office. I have served since 2009, starting in Texas, and now I'm in Canada, and I'm also serving at a local level. I've also run for city council, and I served as a presiding judge after serving in a precinct in Texas. So I have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to that. What's important is that you remember that politics is a popularity contest, but it's not a superficial popularity contest. There's a lot of work to be done, and people like to know that you're going to come in fighting for their interests. You know, your constituents want to know that you really are concerned about it for the most part. Name recognition is not everything, as we know. Somebody can come in and spend a ridiculous amount of money on their campaign and still lose because they don't carry the message of the people that they're representing, or they have a bad background, for example, or whatever. Being on the autism spectrum, I've been out my entire time. I came out of the double closet, in fact, LGBT and autism double closet. So I've been out, and that is not an impediment. In fact, my way of presenting myself is through education, talking about the facts, just I think as a lot of other people would with a bit of that kind of academic background. So it's my particular flavor, and people have warmed up to that. They've understood that, they see that. But most important thing is that I started years and years ago, a couple of decades ago, on community service through volunteering. That's very important, is that the people feel like that you're not just in it for the position, that you're actually doing it for the public good. A lot of positions, in fact, elected positions, no matter what country you're in, are not paid. They are basically on a volunteer basis, especially on the lower levels, the more local ones. You may get paid per meeting or whatnot, but for the most part, you're still going to have to hold down a full-time job. That's on the lower levels. More on the federal and some of the upper, appointed or elected positions in upper level government, you may get more. It is important to do quite a bit of public speaking in advance. My suggestion is to maybe start learning how to read from a script, from a speech, and be able to do so without sounding, really mechanical about it, and learning to speak in a more fluid way. Learn how to edit your own speeches and write your own speeches if possible, and do some of the intonation markers that you might have, like underlining for strong words, and putting a slash between words to say, hey, I'm going to pause on this when I'm speaking, and being able to not just stare down at the speech, but look up and look at the audience, engage. Now for me, it becomes a bit of a challenge when I'm speaking in front of large groups. That is part and parcel to the work, but it is a challenge. And what I do is I pick one point at the back of the room, or I'll look at somebody's forehead here, or I'll even look at their shoulder, and that gives it lets people know that I'm actually focusing on them without looking directly into their eyes. So I would start at a lower level, maybe in Texas, where I first got elected. The state is divided into counties, and then the counties are divided into precincts. I started there and started really low and started working up, learning the ropes and that sort of thing. That's my recommendation, is to take it slow. Don't jump into anything too fast. Also, be good with asking for donations. Every dollar equals a vote. That's what I've always said about donations. And it's true. Rejection is not personal. Realize as well that politics is not personal. It's a business. That's part of that work. But don't take it personally. It really is. It could be anybody else. Whatever actions are taken, it could be anybody else in that position. So it's more about the position itself and not about you personally. So don't take it personally. If you have any more questions, make sure and ask them below. And be sure and subscribe. And catch me on Twitter and Facebook at Autistic Exec. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Check you next time.